Today we are replacing the brakes on our 03 to 13 GM truck. Other applications may apply. Here's the truck in case you're not sure what they look like. They're replacing the front brakes, rotors, hubs, and brake lines. I have some parts laid out in front of you here. You can see the calipers, the front rotors. Pay no attention to the rear drums. It's a different story. Here's the remainder of our parts: brake pads, rotors, new hubs that come with sensors, brake lines, and our calipers. You want to start by removing the front cap on the wheel, followed by the nuts holding the wheel on. Next, you'll remove the tire and tuck it under the vehicle. Continue on, we're going to remove this front caliper. I used a 19mm and an 18mm wrench with a 7/16 line wrench to remove the brake line. Next, we'll remove the caliper and catch the fluid in a drain pan below, followed by removing the brake pad. As you can see, it's all red. I did get those pretty hot. Then next we'll remove the bracket that holds on the calipers. Should just be two bolts holding on the bracket. After you remove the bracket, this will allow us access to remove the rotor. Rotor is secured on there with a Torx head bolt. Nope, don't know the size of that bolt. With the rotor removed, this will give us access to the hub. On the hub is mounted ABS sensor. I took this one off and put it aside for later use in case it's needed. New hubs will come with sensors. The new sensors also come with new mounting clips, so it's okay if you break the old clips. The back of the hub was mounted on with three 15mm bolts. Remove the three 15mm bolts and this will allow the hub and the dust cover to come off together. Hub, dust cover. Remember how the dust cover goes on and off. You might be able to get it on there backwards. Not real sure. Next we're going to install the new hub. Here's our new hub. As you can see, it did come with new sensors. I don't believe you can get them without the sensors. Run the sensor through the hole in the dust cover before installing, or you can fight with it like me afterwards. Easiest just to run it the first time. Next we will torque the hub to spec. I don't know what manufacturer suggests for certain years of vehicles. I believe mine was 133 foot-pound. Next we will route our brake hoses which we are installing. As you can see, there's a clip already installed on there that goes on the bottom, and there's a little notch that'll hold that in place while you tighten it down. Stick your clip in there. That'll hold everything secured. Secure your brake line. Pretty self-explanatory, but when you see it, you'll know. Next, we're going to go about mounting the new rotor. We are going to use the Torx head mounting bolt, even though I'm pretty sure that is simply for the assembly line use. Whenever it gives out, I'll replace it or just won't use it anymore. And snug down that bolt, it'll hold everything in place. Next, we're going to install the bracket that holds on the caliper. In my case, I'm going to install the caliper and the bracket together and then remove the caliper from the bracket. And then snug up the two bolts on the back that hold the bracket in place. We're going to leave the brake line off for the time being. Remove the caliper. Now we'll be installing our brake pads. In this instant, we decided to try out Wagner brake pads. Never used them before. You can pick them up at the O'Reilly dealership. This is the Wagner OEX. They come recommended, so we're going to give it a shot. Notice that it has a curved inside. There's one that goes on the other side of the pad that is not curved. You make the same mistake as me and you put the two outside pads on one rotor, you will be performing this job twice. Mount the pads into the clips. Clips are used to press the pads away from the rotor when you're free spinning. Notice I'm putting the wrong pad on the inside here. And then next we're going to put the caliper on top of the brake pad. Following this, we're going to install the new brake line. It comes with a couple of crush sleeves. Slide them on there with a new bolt, one on the inside and the outside. And there's probably a torque spec for this. I just snugged it down. Don't over tighten it because you will strip out that caliper. Next we'll install the wheel and the lug nuts. And then we will snug down our lug nuts. In my case, I just put a rock in front of the tire to hold it while I snug them all down. Following that, we will torque all the wheel nuts. Probably the first time in history it's been done on this vehicle. And then we'll install our cap for our wheel. I just do this hand tight because they tend to round off pretty easy. And that sums up the hub rotor caliper brake replacement for our 08 to 13 Chevy pickups. Thank you again for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.